What's up? Welcome to Hey, You Got a Minute? This is our episode with Rylund Hunter. I am Connor J. So Rylund and I kind of go a little bit way back. So when he was playing Husky football, I was able to run around the sidelines and watch him play a little bit. But now this guy has gone from a Husky football player all the way to running for a potential candidate spot with the Saskatchewan Party. So fill me in. What's your title? How does this all work?
Yeah, no, well, I appreciate you doing this, Connor, right off the bat. I mean, I think it's cool to see people, trying to start new projects, and especially ones that focus on Saskatchewan, really highlighting people in Saskatchewan. So I'm honored to be on here for sure. My dog is a huge suck, so she won't get out of the view, I don't think.
Yeah, we'll keep her in frame.
Yeah, for those on the podcast, she's manipulating every angle right now. But basically right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to become the candidate for the Sask Party for the 2020 provincial election. So essentially, prior to the election, there's no incumbent in Saskatoon-Meewasin, the constituency where I'm running. So prior to the election, anybody who's a Sask Party member before May 8th in this case, they get to do an internal vote to decide who they want their candidate to be. And that's what I'm in the running for.
And then who's eligible to vote for this spot, or
so
how does it work?
Anybody who lives in, so the constituency is Saskatoon-Meewasin, so that's kind of where I grew up. I lived in River Heights and in North Park, and then obviously I went to Marion Graham up in the north end there too. So Saskatoon-Meewasin starts at 24th Street in City Park, and includes City Park, north to North Park, Richmond Heights, and then also Kelsey Woodlawn on the other side behind the cemetery there. And then in the north, the cutoff is River Heights, where Pine House and Primrose on the north side. So anybody who lives in those areas and has a Sask Party membership before the 8th of May, again, like I was saying, then they can vote on May 15th down at the Ramada Hotel on Idlewild to decide, who they want their candidate to be running in that provincial election. I guess to get your foot in the door, that's the party membership. That's $10 for most people, or $5 if you're under 25.
Okay, so we talked a little about your football experience with Husky football, U of S Husky football, but then you're also a graduate of the U of S Law School.
Yep.
And then you also run Astro Jump.
Yeah.
So with all these different community initiatives and outreach and engagement, how would you put it into that these experiences have helped you to get to where you are and what you're kind of looking forward to?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. I mean, I think a lot of the things I'm running on, and when I'm trying to tell people about myself, it's about the experiences I've had. I mean, I'm born and raised in Saskatoon, and a lot of my life has been focused on trying to give back and contribute to the community. So whether that's through, working as a lawyer at McDougall Gawley in town here for the past 4 years or so, or whether it's through, Bryce McCall and I were fortunate to get Astro Jump going when I just started law school, and we've been really successful. And one of the biggest sources of pride for me with that is, we're going to be opening a big 10,000 square foot kind of indoor birthday party event center, and we're really excited because right now one of the biggest sources of pride for me about being a business owner in Saskatoon is the fact that I get to employ people and give people a job, and try to create a work environment that's positive for them, and that's something I really take a lot of pride in. It's something I think that anybody who starts a business, I think often they feel a great source of pride in knowing that they're allowing somebody to provide for their family. So that's been terrific, and obviously, getting experience as a business owner, I think you relate to a lot of people because we're a province and definitely a city full of entrepreneurs. You're one yourself, right? And so you understand firsthand, what people need in order to have a climate that gives them the opportunity to be successful, and what it really means to put everything on the line and to say, hey, I'm going for it, and if it doesn't work out, there's nobody else to blame or to answer to, it's on me. So
how did the Astro Jump kind of start with you and Bryce McCall?
Yeah, that's, your life takes weird turns, I guess. I think I broke my foot one football season, and I had been working construction in the summer in between. My undergrad was in pharmacy nutrition, and I'd been working construction, and I couldn't do it, but we knew a guy who had brought the business over from Calgary, a friend of ours, Woody Nielsen, and so he gave me a job for the summer, and the next summer he said, well, I'm graduating Dent, I'm going to be moving away. Are you guys interested at all? And we bought the business off of him, and we've really just been growing and growing to the point where now we're doing that big expansion, and we're really excited about it because, you know, we're both football guys, but we're both big on, I guess, physical activity. And I think providing another opportunity and another option for, you know, kids of all ages up to, you know, way older than me to be active and to, especially in the winter, have an opportunity to do something where you're out and you're moving around and kind of combating the sedentary nature that, you know, a lot of our society is kind of drifting to is something that we're really fired up about too. So.
No, that's exciting. You were telling me a bit before, and just how it's going to be that all year kind of aspect, as opposed to just the force once we get in the summer of Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
It's gonna be definitely taking off. So I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah. Well, thanks.
So kind of bringing it back to your potential nomination going forward. So why now? Why are you thinking that now's a good time? What aspects? What did you have to think about when you made the decision?
Well, I thought about it a lot, you know, and tried to talk to everybody I knew who had done something similar, or had been involved, because the question of why now, it's sort of almost became, well, if not now, when, right? You can kind of say, and I think people get in a habit of being locked into thinking, well, you know, I could need to be a little bit older, or, you know, I'd like to wait until, you know, after this other business slows down or this or that, right? But instead, the dog's whining, sorry. But instead, I thought, well, you know, I'm turning 33 right now. I've got, I think, a wealth of experience that makes me very well qualified for it. And frankly, right now, I have the drive and the energy, and I think that's more important than anything. To be able to say I'm going to focus 100% on this. I mean, I took a leave of absence from the law firm to focus just on trying to win the nomination, right? And in my mind, that's the kind of dedication that I plan on bringing to the whole process. If I'm fortunate enough to earn the nomination, all I know is that nobody's going to outwork me. And I know times come up in your life where maybe things get more complicated, you have kids or this or that, and that's not the case for me right now. I just can focus 100% into this, and I think there's a need for young people to step up and get involved in politics, and to say, you know, in my case, hey, I'm pretty thankful for the situation that I came up in, that I had so many opportunities when I graduated law school, that I was able to start a business in Saskatchewan, that the climate was right for me here to be successful. And so if I'm thankful, well, what's the number one thing I can do? It's, well, step up, get involved, give back, and try to make sure we stay that course, and make sure that, you know, the next 4 years, 8 years, 10 years, that everybody else here has as many opportunities, right? And so this podcast blows up, right?
Once we go big, I mean, it's going to be international waters.
Exactly, right?
You're going to be looking at a bigger throne for Rylund Hunter. So you kind of touched on, like, what makes you want to kind of, your drive, and when did it kind of hit you that you kind of get that aha moment, not just necessarily running for this position, but just like, hey, I can do kind of whatever I want by not just putting my mind to it, but looking through my connections, through my different avenues. When was that moment, whether it was like in elementary school, someone gave you confidence, or just sort of any aspect?
You know, a big part of it, I think, for me, happened actually living away from here. I lived in Montreal for parts of 3 years there. I played junior football out there before coming back to Saskatoon to go to university, play for the Huskies. And so that sort of changed my perspective on, you know, the size of the world even a little bit, right? We tend to be sort of a small pond here sometimes. And I think the opportunity to get out there and see a little bit of another place, and then really I felt this burning desire to come back to Saskatoon, right? Just because there's so many things I love about the city, and to really be from a city, I mean, it kind of is something that lives inside you, right? I mean, there's just a connection that you can't explain. So since that time and being back, I've really, I think, taken every opportunity to get involved in the community wherever I can, whether it's, you know, big brothers, big sisters, White Buffalo, down at the legal clinic in town, or, you know, to some of the things I'm on now with the Senate or with Kids Sport, the Public Schools Foundation, yada, 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 right? All these different things, because I care so much about the city, and I was so excited to get back here. I wanted to make sure that, you know, when I have extra energy, which I always do, that I was putting it towards something meaningful, right? And that meant improving where we live,
So kind of peeling back to those other engagements, community engagements, again, like there's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
You're covering your regular job, your other business, personal business, and then these other volunteer places. Like, how do you find the time? How do you compartmentalize everything?
Yeah. Well, you cut out things that don't matter, I guess, for starters, right? From a practical point, I mean, I don't watch a lot of TV, or, you know, when I have something to do, I think when something's important, you always find there's always time to do it. I guess that's what it comes down to. I've always said if something's important, there's always time. And so I only take on things that I think are important or that I care about. And the worst thing you can do is, you know, sometimes take something on that you don't have time for. Take something on and do a bad job. I remember I was at Cody Smuck's funeral a few years ago when he unfortunately obviously passed away, and that hit home for me really hard. I wasn't very close to him, but I, you know, admired him because he was a Husky hockey player, and we chat in the gym and see each other out and stuff like that. And at the funeral, I remember somebody saying that one of his quotes was, "How you do anything is how you do everything." And since that day, I've taken that as sort of the one quote that I would say I try to live by. So, you know, whether I take on something with, you know, kids sport or with autism services, I plan on giving it my best. Same as if I take on this role of trying to get the nomination, like I'm going to do it full out, because I think if you follow that rule, and I know Smuck is a guy who did, you know, that will drive you to excellence, right? You hold yourself to that same high standard all the time. So yeah, there's 24 hours in a day, but if you keep that in mind and you give everything your best, and if it matters to you, there's always time.
Yeah. Right? So obviously through your 33 years of life, right, you've come across a lot of people, made a lot of connections through your schooling, your small businesses, your extracurriculars, your sports. But who's kind of the one influence you would say that's really impacted you, or who really believed in you to give you confidence to do everything you've done so far?
Yeah, that's a tough question, actually. I mean,
it's hard to pick one. It's hard to pick one.
Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of things one of the things that I'm really thankful for is the fact that I had a lot of good influences, right? And that, you know, in certain times of my life, I chalk a lot of things up to luck, right? I mean, I don't think there's a lot of things particularly exceptional about me. I've been in a lot of good situations, you know, to be reasonably intelligent and to have a lot of good opportunities goes a long way. And part of those opportunities are having met a lot of good people at the right time who can kind of steer you a little bit this way or that way. If I had to pick one person, I mean, I'd probably say my mom, who has, you know, is an exceptionally hard worker herself, was a teacher for, I think, 36 years, taught primary grades, taught reading for the most part. That was kind of her passion, teaching kids to read. And, you know, I think I was a difficult child, so kudos to her for sticking with me. I think if she, you know, whether or not you define this as being successful, I think if she would have been, or is, you know, pretty happy and probably sometimes surprised to see where I've ended up. But, you know, she also, yeah, just an exceptionally hard worker and set, you know, an incredible model for me to follow of day in, day out, yeah, working your hardest, and has believed in me nonstop and has been a huge support. And whenever I need somebody, I know I can always rely on her, and I'm fortunate to have somebody like that in my life, for sure.
And then not just looking at kind of the nomination, but just your overall kind of like goal in life, or ultimate goal, ultimate dream, what would that be?
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know if I can share that. You know, yeah, I'm a huge believer in goal setting, though. Like I'm constantly, you know, setting goals, and I think setting ambitious goals is key. And then reevaluating those goals, and you know, as long as you're moving forward, sometimes like that's a good thing, right? And you set goal A, and maybe that, you know, ends up not being what you're interested in, but at least you're moving forward, and that puts you on the path to find, you know, goal B, which is maybe where you ultimately end up. So right now, you know, I'm pretty singularly focused on trying to win this nomination to become the candidate for the SAS party. I think I just have a lot to offer, and you know, I'm very, very focused on that right now, and that's where all my work is going. Long term, ultimately, it's, you know, to be a great citizen, right? To contribute to the community and to make it a better place, and you know, to be I'm engaged in December 31st. So, to be a loving husband, to raise a great family, to live happily ever after, those kind of things. But to make sure that you leave a mark and that, you can say when your time's winding up that, hopefully your community and your neighbors and, everybody else are a little bit better off for the work that you did. Okay.
So this next segment is our ghost segment. We just hit Rylund with a bunch of questions, so bang, 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 and not difficult questions, so we hit you with the heavier questions earlier, but not difficult questions. Well, and look for quick answers.
That's good.
Okay. Favorite book?
I just read Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance again, so I'd probably say that. That was one of my dad's favorite books, so I'll go with that. It's a good one, and I still don't think I understand it completely, so.
Might have to go for round 2, hey?
Yeah, round 3 or 4 now.
Favorite song?
Favorite song?
What's on the playlist right now?
What's on the playlist right now? I've been listening to a lot of John Bryant, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of chill music. I listen to it when I'm coming home from door knock and just kind of zen out a little bit. It's been good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any certain song you'd recommend, or just all of it?
I did what I did because I wanted to. Yeah, check it out. Very, very mellow. Very
did
mellow.
what I did because I wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite animal?
Animal? Bear. Yeah.
Just straight up.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, they're just, kind of the apex predator in our environment, and I just think beautiful animal, right? And really, yeah, nothing more to it. Yeah.
Favorite superhero?
Superhero, I was never a big superhero guy.
Or superpower then?
Superpower. No, I'll still go Superman though. Just because that Crash Test Dummy song, right, really hits me there.
Favorite vacation spot?
Vacation spot? I love skiing. So anywhere you get me in the mountains, it's a blast. Don't care where.
Favorite show?
Show? I haven't watched a lot of TV lately, to be honest.
How about throwbacks then?
Throwbacks. Well, a huge Seinfeld fan.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a real throwback, I guess. 15 years off the air here. I'm out of touch.
Still going on.
Yeah,
Still syndicated. Yeah, I think
good.
that's second, third generation.
There we go.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I loved Inception. Yeah,
Okay.
that was a great movie.
It's a mind bender.
It was a mind bender, man. I rewatched it on the plane the other day, and you got to really love a movie to want to watch it on the plane, because that's not like a good environment.
Yeah.
Every movie looks worse on the plane, but yeah, I dug Inception a lot, and DiCaprio's he's a sick actor, right?
It's great.
So yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
In my downtime, you can find me.
In my downtime, you can find me fast asleep. Yeah.
I mean, you're expending so much energy everywhere else. So.
No, I make time. I still try to. It doesn't show, but I try to make time to go to the gym every day. So that's something I set aside time for. And you could say it's downtime because it's not working towards any tangible end, I guess. But yeah, I'm either sleeping, working, or in the gym, or in the kitchen. Maybe I like to cook, make a good meal.
Okay, what's your go-to meal then? It's like you need to impress the host of a podcast.
Oh man, maybe I bust out the smoker, do something in there. I don't know what exactly, but yeah, something like that. We'll fire it up after. It's a little early. It's still breakfast time to be smoking something.
And then just favorite quote, since this is another segment. Yeah, favorite quote.
Favorite quote? Well, I mean, I said how you do anything is how you do everything is, still resonates with me, and I think would be my favorite quote. Because this kind of ties back to, don't make excuses, don't make exceptions. It's a slippery slope, right? So you hold yourself accountable, and then end of the day, whatever happens, at least you can look in the mirror and be proud of what you did. So
thanks again, Rylund, for joining the podcast. Good luck to you in your quest for the nomination. If you want to get in contact with Rylund Hunter, ask him any questions, just look at the information below. And yeah, thanks for tuning in to Hey You Got a Minute with Rylund Hunter and Connor J.
Beauty, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.